Too many Christians approach prayer like a transaction, a ritual, a moment we enter and then leave. We sit, we speak, we wait for a feeling, and then we wonder why nothing seems to change. But what if I told you you were never meant to simply say prayers? You were meant to become one. Prayer isn't simply a spiritual skill to master, it's the shape your life takes when it's fully possessed by the presence of God. The presence of God isn't a place to visit, it's the reality in which you were meant to live. That's not poetic language, this is what the church professes. St. Paul says in his first letter to the Corinthians, you are the temple of the Holy Spirit. Jesus himself said in John chapter 15, abide in me and I in you. These aren't metaphors, they're your blueprint. You weren't created to simply know about God. You were created to be indwelt by him, not just to worship from afar, but to become a living tabernacle. And that's why the saints, they could walk through unspeakable trials and they would still radiate God's peace. They weren't striving to reach God, they were hosting him. When we reduce prayer to words, we stay in control. But real prayer, deep, sustained communion, isn't controlled, it's surrendered to. Romano Guardini said that in the act of prayer, the whole man enters into the presence of God. That means it's not just our words, it's not just our intellect, it's the whole person. Prayer isn't just an activity, it's the interior posture of a soul that knows it's been found. So why is it many believers don't experience God in prayer? It's certainly not because he's absent, but it's because of distraction. They're distracted. Distracted by noise, by striving, by the fear that intimacy has to be earned. But hear me out. The veil has been torn. God doesn't dwell in a temple made by human hands. He dwells in you. The tabernacle, the temple, they were shadows. The reality is now. And your soul is not a waiting room for heaven. It's the sanctuary that he's chosen. The early church fathers taught the goal of the Christian life is not more knowledge about God, but divinization. To become by grace what Christ is by nature. That's not heresy. That's Romans chapter 8. You're being conformed, not to a better version of yourself, but to the image of the Son. And how is that image formed? It's by remaining in his presence until every false identity burns away. You don't need more words. You need more fire. You don't need to achieve more. You need to be consumed. So I want to encourage you, the next time that you pray, don't go to say something, go to become something. A resting place, a flame, a fire, a prayer that never ends.